This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
North Texas food fans, it's time for another episode of Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News. Every week, our food staff loves to dig into the local restaurant scene, talk about food and drink trends, and those things that make North Texas, North Texas. This is Anna Butler. I'm the News's food and events editor and your podcast host. In the spirit of the State Fair of Texas, this week, the Dallas Morning News food team is talking about why we crave fried food. And we brought in a guest star for that. So stick around. You won't want to miss this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
And we're back. For the latest food and restaurant news, visit dallasnews.com/food and tell us what you think about our coverage at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I'm joined by our food writers, Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia. Unfortunately, Claire Baller is out sick today, and we will miss her. But we do have a special surprise guest that isn't that much of a surprise because I mentioned her in my intro. It is our science fellow, Miriam Fauzia.
Hey.
Welcome, Miriam.
Hello. Thank you all for having me.
Okay, so the logic behind all of this and Miriam being our guest star is pretty simple. The State Fair is coming up. It starts, tomorrow. And I don't think there are many other festivities in a year where a person goes into something knowing they're going to pound some fried food, unless you have crazy discipline. But beyond how tasty fried food can be, we wanted to understand a little bit more about the why behind why we like it. But first off, Miriam, your title is always confusing because it makes you sound a little like you're 18. And that's not true.
And I do sound 18.
Okay, so you're our science fellow here at the Morning News. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, so I cover science and medicine news here in North Texas, hopefully stories that are relevant to the everyday Texan to improve their lives and learn more about the sort of scientific research that's happening here.
And fried food.
And fried food, yes, we can't forget that.
We've been talking about doing this for a while.
100%. And I love fried food. I don't know who doesn't like fried food. So we definitely had to dig into this.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I want to add something. Miriam here is our queen of treats here at the newsroom.
Oh, such a good point, Imelda.
And actually, she's bringing us some treats.
Oh, I have. It's not the fried variety. I didn't have time for that to prepare in that season. But, an assortment of chocolates, more so for the next month of Halloween. So I kind of, you could say I prepared beforehand.
And I just want the listener to understand what it means for Miriam to be like the treat lady. She has this wonderful way. Anyone who's walking by, if she's got a second, you'll pop up your head from your computer and say something like, would you like a strawberry Kit Kat from insert country here?
Yeah.
Or have you had this new jelly candy? And like most of the time, whether I've had it or not, I definitely want it.
Yeah.
But you are a delight. You have the candies that many of us have never had before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely believe in expanding my culinary palate. Regardless of what kind of palate we're talking about, it's usually the sweet palate. That's my jam. But yeah, I bringing joy to the newsroom is something that I love doing.
I mean, you would think it's the food team at the Morning News that would be the people to go to for snacks.
Yeah, but
It's Miriam.
It's
Look, I'm
Miriam.
bringing it for y'all 100%. That's where I am.
Yeah, no, we're very, very lucky to have you for that. We're also lucky to have you on today's podcast. Okay, you got to tell us a little bit about the why behind this, because we will be next week going into our fried food tasting for the State Fair. So this is like a really good primer for that.
When I was digging into the science of why we love fried food, I came across a lot of different reasons, but most of them hinge upon one simple fact. Fried foods are addictive because of how they activate the brain's reward and pleasure centers. So let's first walk through this. You're at the State Fair. You're taking in the sights, the sounds, the heady, sugary scent of funnel cake caramelizing in oil, maybe the sizzle of fat bacon pickle fries. I saw your story, Sarah.
I'm so here. You've hooked me.
So you're just taking in all the scents and the sounds of the state fair. And all of us have had fried food at one or several points in our lives. So we already know, we've learned from past experiences that fried foods are undeniably delicious, right? In anticipation, your brain is already producing something called a neurotransmitter called dopamine. I think all of us are probably familiar with dopamine. It's a reward or a feel-good molecule. It's a bit of a misnomer in a sense because while dopamine is involved in our sense of reward, it's more about motivating behavior and learning. So when we make that hard decision between eating a piping hot funnel cake or a savory fat bacon pickle fries, your brain is already releasing dopamine in anticipation.
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now. We're all thinking about it. We're like, we want funnel cake right now. And it gets more hits of dopamine when you're first tasting the food. And again, when the food, it reaches your digestive tract. Mindy Patterson, who is an associate professor of nutrition and food science at Texas Women's University, explained to me that in our guts, we have these proteins called receptors. Think of them like old-timey switchboard operators that connect calls. These receptors, they sense fat, and this information is conveyed to the brain through the gut-brain axis called the vagus nerve. Once in the brain, the reward pathways are activated, in particular the hedonic pathway, which is associated with the reward and pleasurable aspects of eating, like when you're craving Sonic at 2 a.m., totally not me.
Okay, the hedonic, like hedonism.
Yeah, it's literally, that's exactly.
I don't know why I sounded so excited about hedonism. But I
It's
heard
not
that.
often in science where you get names like that. It's always like these boring Latin names or the scientist who you're like, okay, well, he lived in the 18th century. I don't really know him. I don't personally know him. I have read about him maybe. But yeah, so it's the hedonic pathway. And, it's important to note that we can't actually taste fat. Or at least, actually, we can't actually, so we don't have taste buds that are specific to fat. We have all the other like umami, sour, bitter, salty, sweet. I don't think I missed any, right? I think those are the ones.
Yeah, so you're talking about, I am assuming this is where you're going, mouthfeel probably, which is the
Well, we
grossest
do have the mouth-
term.
Well, that's
I hate mouthfeel.
But it's right. I mean, you can sense fat because of the way it feels in your mouth.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but scientists over the years have found that there is something in our mouths that is sensing fat. Like they think that maybe there are fatty acids, so they're like the building blocks of fat that we might be sensing in our mouths. But really, what it is that we are having this mouthfeel explosion of flavor from the carbs, the sugar, the salt, and also the tactile and auditory attributes of the fried food we're eating. These auditory attributes, such as crunchiness and crispiness, aid in our perception of the fried food because they feed back to that pleasure we derive from the funnel cake or fat bacon pickle fries.
Oh my God, let's go for food right now.
So I talked to Charles Spence. He's a professor of experimental psychology at Oxford University in the United Kingdom.
Ever heard of it?
I will say that's where I got my master's degree in immunology. Just putting a plug there for Oxford University.
Love that.
So Spence is a gastrophysicist. So he basically studies how sound impacts our perception and enjoyment of food. In 2008, he won an Ig Nobel Prize, not to be confused with a Nobel Prize. An Ig Nobel is basically a parody of the Nobel Prize for scientific studies that are a bit quirky, off the beaten path. But in 2008, he won this prize for his study into how the perceived freshness of a potato chip can be manipulated through sound. So he basically had volunteers eat 2 cans of Pringles. Anyone can relate to that, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. No, just
really-
one for me.
That's just a
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah, I wish she told me what flavor of Pringles. I'm just guessing it's like the regular
I
flavor.
would hope it was sour cream and onion.
Yeah. I also love the cheddar, just the straight cheddar.
But what would British people have?
Oh, that's a
Salt
good
vinegar?
question.
Fish and chips.
Maybe so, yeah.
I actually don't think I saw fish and chips flavored
That's
Pringles.
not. It's because it's not real. I made that up.
But every other kind of potato chip does exist these days, so it doesn't feel
Mhm.
so far off from the Target.
There is a ham and mustard flavored British chip that they sell at Central Market. It's one of my favorite things of all time, and it does taste hammy and mustardy. And I'm so sorry, Miriam, because I love what you're talking about right now.
No, I'm actually very intrigued. I would love to know how they can inflect those kind of flavors of ham and mustard into potato chips. I think that would be very interesting to investigate.
This is a small pet project of mine. I don't know all the answers, but I've listened to a couple of podcasts about this because I totally agree with you. Like, how can something taste hammy and not have any ham in it? How can something taste cheesy and not have any cheese in it? And this is a whole corner of the science food world that like super fascinates me because I for better or for worse, am one of those eaters who doesn't mind if something is fake if I can try to understand it.
Mm.
And so next podcast, Miriam, can we please eat 2 cans of Pringles
Oh, yeah.
as a family and get into those flavors?
We should.
Okay.
We should.
Back to fried food.
100%. Yeah.
To the ignoble practice.
Yeah, back to this ignoble. So Spence basically had these volunteers. They ate 2 cans of Pringles, and while these folks were eating, their snacking sounds were fed to them through a pair of headphones they were wearing. What the volunteers snackers did not know was that Spence and his team were modifying the sounds to be more or less crunchy. As it turns out, crunchiness is king. The louder the snacking resulted in people perceiving those Pringles as 15% crunchier and fresher than if quieter sounds were played instead. Can you believe it?
Interesting.
I love a crunchy, like I think a Ruffles is highly superior to a Lay's potato chip. Those ridges, which mean more crunch, it's 10x for me. It's so much better than the other. And I wonder if because of that, I want to eat more of them.
Considering the forager lifestyle of our early ancestors, crisp or crunchiness was likely an indicator of something being good or safe to eat. Additionally, Spence said that the sonic attributes of fried food helps really focus and touch attention on what we're eating and then promoting a feeling of satiety.
Oh.
I will
Happiness.
say when you said Sonic, I thought about the hedgehog, and then I was like, sound.
Yeah. Yeah, another word for sound.
Learn to say in the world of food writing, we don't think about sonic things, lowercase s, in this way. Miriam, you've introduced us to new words to use
I
when it
learned
comes to food.
Yeah, I did not. Again, as a non-food writer, I don't think about these words as well.
But okay, so you used another noun form or like a noun form of satiate. What was that word?
Satiety.
Satiety.
Yes.
See, welcome, Miriam. You should stay.
Permanently building like a foundation right here where I sit and I never leave this.
Yes, it's too good. Just bring that tray of chocolates.
Yes. Okay, so back to the satiety. So you are basically promoting a feeling of satiety by having this crisp, crunchy food. And it's really important because if we think about that, there's been numerous studies over the years that have found that distracted eating may lead to eating more food because you're not really consciously savoring or being mindful of what you're consuming. For example, a 2023 study from the Netherlands found that when participants were asked to memorize a short or long string of numbers while eating, those who had to memorize the longer string reported their food tasting less sweet. I find this very relatable.
So that's why you enjoy a lot of eating and watching TV at the same time and going to the fair and things like that.
Yeah, well, so there was another study out of the Netherlands that looked at eating while watching television, and also people self-reported eating more while watching television. The thing is that what Spence was telling me, it's like, your attention is really focused on your mouth. Like having that crunchiness and that sound is really making you think about like what you're eating, savoring, and actually experiencing the flavors.
And I think the exact opposite of that, we think about dining blindfolded, and there are actually dinners where you do this. But if you think about it, not only are you not watching television, but you're not looking at the person across the table from you or at your plate. If you were to close your eyes and just think about that crunch, about those exact flavors, what are you eating?
Yeah.
It would be so much more focused.
Right.
And maybe even confusing, though, if you couldn't see what you were eating.
Yeah, well, because a lot of how we perceive taste, we think of it as the mouth, but just as I mentioned with Spence's study, it is about sound. It's about the atmosphere as well. It's also about expectation because, if you're a generational Texan who's been going to the state fair year after year, you hear stories about the state fair. If this is your first time going, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I've heard mom and dad and grandpa and grandma talk about all these wonderful confections and fried foods, then you go in also with that expectation that the food is going to be good. So these kind of things shape our taste as well.
I'm curious as to why the Dutch have so many thoughts on this. That's what I was thinking about really hard. I was like, what, eating stroopwafels?
I mean, I've had a stroopwafel before and they were amazing. And I will say, I don't know if you've watched videos of like Dutch like street food. Like they have they have Christmas markets all over Europe. A lot of amazing food. And I've been to a Christmas market in Spain and I want to go back so
I
bad.
will say that is a little bit like their state fair. When I lived in Vienna,
Oh
I
yeah.
would go to every Christmas market in the city. They start at Thanksgiving because this might surprise you. They don't have Thanksgiving over there. So they're like, it's just time to roll straight into Christmas. And it really is such a memory though, but it's you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you smell the chestnuts and then you can hear them sometimes popping
Mm,
and where they're making them. And I don't know. It's like it really is that sensory thing though. But it's funny
exactly.
though, thinking about how it is detractive to do it with TV, but it isn't with something like a fair because that's what you're there for.
Well, from how I understood talking to the experts, I mean, there could be an element of being distracted, but again, there's all this visual and this sensory sort of information that is influencing our taste. So there could be an aspect of being distracted. And when you and I eat fried food or any food that we perceive as pleasurable, again, dopamine, like I said. But for some people, that dopamine rush is not enough. So they have to continually eat more, more, and more. And this is something that you see like for people who are stressed because they have high cortisol levels. And that high cortisol will make them want to eat more of that high fatty, sugary food. So it's never enough for them. They have to eat more and more and more.
So that's why when you are sad or stressed or happy, you
Yeah.
want more. And I mean, you are craving like, oh, I want some hot wings,
Yeah,
things like that.
exactly. You are kind of self-medicating yourself with food.
Oh, I knew it was like the doctor told me.
It's
That's what I
exactly what the
need.
doctor told you.
Dr.
Yeah.
Garcia.
Yeah. Dr. Garcia says, this is good. I like
Yeah.
you, Miriam.
Of course. I tell
Enabling.
yeah. But here's another reason for why we like fried food because of the fat. So it all has to do with our own human evolution. And our ancient ancestors probably acquired a taste for fat around 4 million years ago. Can
Oh,
you imagine
wow.
that?
Wow.
No, nope, not there.
Yeah.
We don't get to write about things 4 billion years ago very often with food either.
Can you imagine? It's like going back in time being like, so Neanderthal ancestor, what was your favorite food like at the state fair?
I don't think they had Fletcher's corny dogs back then.
Just berries and raw meat.
Occasional, maybe saber-toothed tiger if they were adventurous enough to fight.
But it has logic because I mean the fatter the meat and all the food, it's better for them because they don't hunt that much.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is here is that it's all about energy. So fat
Mhm.
actually is more calorically dense
Yeah.
than protein and carbohydrate. I spoke to Allison Childress at Texas Tech University. She's a professor there who focuses on something called culinary medicine. Did not know that before, and I'm
That's
so
my medicine.
fascinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was telling me that basically way back then fat was a scarce commodity compared to berries, the raw meats. And so we really developed this kind of hankering for fat because of how scarce it was. And there was actually a 2019 study that argues that, wanting fat is actually, and then acquiring this taste for fat is actually what set up a chain reaction for providing our bodies the energy we needed to grow brains the size that we have and we enjoy today.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
brisket could give you a bigger brain.
That's it.
Hmm.
Well, as long as it's fatty brisket. I don't know if brisket is fatty.
Some people order lean on purpose, I've heard.
It should be fatty. Absolutely. You can get it lean and you should not.
Yeah.
I love this. Barbecue is saving lives.
Bigger-
Oh, Miriam, you
bigger
stay here.
brain.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, I mean these are most of the reasons why, we love fat. There's an evolutionary reason, there's the dopamine reason, there's also that comfort reason as well. A lot of us will seek solace in our comfort foods shaped by our own experiences. So these things all come together and pair very well to make us love fried food.
And I will hope this all is good for our bodies, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's too much. And I want to know, are there any alternatives, like healthy alternatives to this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there are healthy alternatives, but let's be honest, when you're going to a state fair, do you want a healthy alternative?
No.
Do you want a baked
No.
donut or do you want a fried donut?
Yeah. Do you want a salad? Do you want a funnel cake?
Yeah. I mean,
Is funnel cake kind of just salad, but cake?
Maybe.
is funnel cake the
No.
salad of cake?
The dressing is like
The powdered
Oh my
sugar?
God.
or honey. I think I'm just thinking of sopapillas right now.
Anna, it feels like a stretch, but I want to be there.
Please join my religion.
The religion of the holy funnel cake.
Oh.
Yeah, so the thing with fried foods is that they're very high in saturated and trans fats, which for first of all is not good for your heart. It's terrible, terrible for your heart.
Wait, are we doing this now?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I didn't know we were going to go down this road. Keep going. I
Sorry.
just thought it was
I'll-
all good.
Sarah and I are going to pretend not to listen.
Yeah.
How about this? I will follow it up with some tips of how to enjoy everything at the state fair guilt free.
Yeah, I
Okay,
like that.
That's
I
my
like
promise, my Scout's honor kind of promise to you.
Okay.
Guilt free.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, fried foods are very high in saturated and trans fats, which are not the good fats. The good fats are the unsaturated ones. And so the reason is that these kind of fats build up in your blood vessels. They raise your cholesterol. They'll raise your LDL or bad cholesterol and put you at risk for heart disease and stroke. They can also activate your immune system and cause inflammation, which isn't really great. As someone, my master's degree is in immunology, you don't really want to mess with your immune system. So, but there are ways that you can potentially get around and this speaks to what sort of method you're using for frying, what kind of oils you're using for frying. Olive oil is the healthiest, followed by avocado, canola, coconut oil, some other plant-based oils like sunflower seed oil. Not necessarily in that order. So I'm not telling you to go to Trader Joe's right now and buy olive oil.
No, we're trying to get people to go to the State Fair of Texas and eat a funnel cake.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
Salad.
It's the funnel cake, the salad of the state fair. So, and how you're using the oil is really important. You don't want to heat the oil beyond its smoke point because basically what happens is that you have this chemical reaction where it reacts with the oxygen and it does something called oxidize, and it will form these chemical compounds that are not great for your body once they're in there. They'll cause a lot of cellular damage. So you want to try to stay within the optimal range for heating your oil.
Which is why they use, though, typically you're going to see a canola oil because the smoke point is double that of olive oil almost. It's something
Yeah.
like I was like, that's why we see like there would be a massive change, a massive movement if we had higher smoke points. And so I think I've seen like some newer olive oils that are like, we established a higher smoke point, but it's harder to do it. And the reason that you don't do it is it's almost impossible to like deep fry something in olive oil because the outside would cook too quickly and then the inside's still raw. But that I will just like from like the cooking point of view, it would be beautiful if we could do it with healthier oil.
Yeah. Unfortunately not. Not until technology. Well, you can air fry.
And then air fry anything.
Ah,
A
yeah.
funnel cake.
Oh, a salad.
We should then on the next podcast we try air frying a funnel cake.
That's probably possible.
I mean, air frying apparently is the most healthiest option out of pan frying, heat frying, because basically you're using air to form a crust around the thing that you're
And
frying.
there's no risk of transference because that's the biggest thing with deep frying anything is if in a perfect world, your oil's hot enough that none of it transfers into your food. Like
Exactly.
in theory, you shouldn't actually be eating oil ever from what you fried, but there are things that happen.
Right. Yeah. And air frying uses very little to no oil. So, you're entirely minimizing the impact of oil. Okay. Now I will deliver on my promise on tips, how you want to strategize as you're going to the state fair. So
Ready.
A lot of people might think to themselves, all right, I'm going to spend my whole maybe Saturday and I'm going to eat whatever I want. I am not going to like start my day with breakfast. I'm just going to have breakfast there at the state fair. You don't want to go on an empty stomach, not according to the nutritionist I spoke to, Patterson and Childress. You don't want, if you don't want to pregame because you want to eat all the cookie butter nachos or the hot chicken pancake poppers to your heart's content. I mean, you can, but what you should do instead, Patterson said, is to have a healthy meal before you go to the fair. Both she and Childress also endorse, and this is going to, maybe this will be a hill that I die on, but sharing is caring, folks.
Oh, no. That is not happening.
Well,
Every
well.
time my wife says, "Hey, give me some," no, get yours. I mean, get yours.
How many siblings do you have, Imelda?
I have 2 siblings.
Yeah, I had 4. And as an adult, if I can get around sharing, I will, because I had to share everything growing up. I'd go to the bathroom, I'd come back, and all my French fries were gone. That's not even sharing. That's stealing, another S word. But I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Miriam.
well, the thing with the sharing is that, it's both, you got to think about your stomach, and you also want to appease those cravings. Like, denying yourself is I mean, personally, I think denying yourself is a useless thing, especially, state fair is once every year. If you want to have fat bacon pickle fries, then, have a fat bacon pickle fry, but have it in moderation. So, like, whatever portion you get, maybe share it with Imelda or share it with Sarah.
Yes, please.
That's what you can do. That way you can have as much as you want, or at least taste as much as you want of the stuff that's there at the state fair. And the next thing that you want to do is schedule your guilt-free fried food eating for certain times of the day. Childress said that we tend to crave high-fat foods typically in the late afternoon and evening. So time your eating for earlier in the day.
Aha, we're doing this right. We go on the first day of the state fair, and a tasting group of us, we try all 10 Big Tex Choice Awards finalists. For everybody listening, this story will be out by the end of the first day of the State Fair of Texas on dallasnews.com/food. But we finish eating, Miriam, at about 2:00.
That sounds good.
That's check. We're
Yeah.
doing it right.
You're doing it right.
Whoa.
You were doing the signs without even knowing. Intuitive.
I feel great because we were going to eat a lot of food, whether you told us to or not. So now at least we know that one thing is right.
It's healthy now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to eat a healthy breakfast, and then we are going to not eat unhealthy foods too late in the day.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm there.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
we're going to share them.
Yeah.
You're not. No, I'm saying
For me.
we actually all are going to share, because buying all of the state fair fried foods in one fell swoop is incredibly expensive.
That is also
And
true.
so our team is sharing. But I also find it hard to share something fried that I really love.
Mhm.
So that's going to be, we're all going to work on that, Miriam, myself included.
And after that, we can go for a salad. Funnel cake
For a
salad.
funnel cake
Yeah.
salad.
Miriam, what about this? I have heard that, cheat meals should kind of be part of the psychology of eating, right? Like everybody deserves a break. And let's pretend that our trip to the fair is a cheat meal. Is the science behind it right that, eating really unhealthy food, or even eating a large quantity of food when you don't usually do that, does sort of trick your metabolism into working harder, and then you get back to healthier eating habits, and that spike can be kind of a good thing?
Well, I don't know exactly about that, but what I can say is that, and this was a question I had posed both to Patterson and Childress, like, if you are someone who overall eats healthy in your day-to-day life, you have one day where you go all out on the fair, is that going to have any lasting repercussions? And both of them said no. If you're an otherwise healthy person, one day of like treating yourself is not really going to significantly impact your health.
So if you did this all 24 days of the fair.
Okay, now you're pushing it.
Don't do that, it sounds like. But yeah, great point. Like, so our one day, no big deal. Everything in moderation.
Exactly.
We do have friends, and they are listening, who go to the fair all 24 days.
Wow.
I don't think they're eating all 10 fried food finalists each day. you would guess. They're stopping here or there. Actually, the State Fair superfans I know have favorite things to eat, and it is not like a plate full of nachos every single day. They have like favorite things, some of which are good for you. One of the most beloved healthy-ish items at the fair that I've heard people talk about are the fried collard greens from Chef Cassie. And they are, yes, they're fried. They are so delicious. And they're green. It's like one of the only things I can think of at the State Fair that's made with a vegetable.
I mean, maybe that's the salad.
All right, that is all the time we have for Eat Drink DFW this week. Miriam, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
So fun. We appreciate you tuning in and we want to hear from you. So again, you can reach out to us anytime via email at eatdrink@dallasnews.com to share your food thoughts and questions. That includes submissions for Ask Eat Drink, where we'll just answer any food question that you have.
Also, food science, send it our way.
The show is produced by Billy Kidd. To catch up on every episode of this show and hear more from our newsroom, just follow the Dallas Morning News wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, please rate the show and leave a review. Find links to all of our work at dallasnews.com/listen. You'll also find a special membership offer there just for listeners. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.